It's a great day to talk hockey on HabsCast.
A great day indeed. Unfortunately, it's kind of a it's an emergency podcast due to the big news, which honestly didn't shock me because Caden Guhle gets injured every year. It's like clockwork. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be. I thought it was hoping it would be in the end of June or something that he got hurt this year, but no. Out 4 to 6 weeks, they say. Blain, I'm joined by
Yeah.
Blain Potvin, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a couple months. Groin injuries, they can take longer than you'd think, and you wonder, did they rush him because he had a groin injury in camp, right?
Yeah, I think it was like a strain, a groin strain. I think they classified it.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe they did rush him. Maybe it's just he has a bad groin. Like it just
yeah,
like you said,
well,
every year.
it just he gets injured every year, and it's. I mean, I feel sorry for him, but I mean, it's it happens every year, and you start to want. I'm not a guy. I don't believe in the word injury prone, but sometimes there's exceptions, and I I think it's safe to say at this point, if this far in his career, Caden Goule's injury prone.
Uh, yeah, he's had some injuries. I agree. Um, if he's only missing a few games, fine. But if it's like half a season, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's just like every year it's a different thing. Like it's like he. I had a look before the season started, and it was something like 12 different injuries in the past 4 or 5 years. So, unfortunately, playing as robust a game as he does, defensemen always, are a little more susceptible to injuries, and he's always been a little undersized for weight wise for how he plays the game, and I think this year I was hoping like he put on the. I think he's finally at the weight that you'd like to see a guy at for his height to play the style he plays. So I was optimistic that maybe this year, he could play 80 games or 78 or whatever. But it's too bad that I mean it's curtailed his development to this point. When you battle that many injuries, the first 3-4 years of your career, it he's not the sum of his parts yet as an NHL defenseman because of it, I think, and it's unfortunate for him, but gives a good opportunity to Struble. Struble and Hudson are going to be paired as they were the last two periods. I wonder if he didn't maybe tweak it after the first period because they put Struble and Hudson together after the first period, and it makes you wonder if he didn't maybe say something, at that point, and then it just he exacerbated it as the game went on. But
it does make sense. He left the ice nursing something early on in the game, and then his role
he did.
changed
Okay, well,
right
there you
after.
go. Okay, so yeah, well, I thought I was being brilliant there, but no. Okay, now it adds up. Yeah. Well, I mean, Struble and Hudson have played well together. Their numbers last year were fantastic. I think it was the best numbers of any pairing on the Canadiens' defense. They look good last game together again. So this is an opportunity for Struble to say, look, you can't take me out of the lineup, right? That and then there's been the battle about, well, should it be Struble or Jockey? Well, we don't have to debate that anymore. There won't be any more. The next 6-8 weeks, folks, there won't be any more shows saying, Struble or Jackeye. That won't be the title for any of our shows. We don't have to worry about that. I think they probably call up Del Gaizo as the seventh guy. I don't think you want to bring up Engstrom at this point and sit. It bothered me enough that Struble was sitting in at 23 years of age, sitting out. So do you bring in Engstrom in and sit one of the? Then you're in the same situation, right? You're sitting out a guy that should be playing and needs to be developing. If Struble or Jackeye struggle, then you bring up Engstrom. But you got a couple of weeks here, see how the six look. Bring up Del Gaizo to be the guy that sits, eats the shanshos in the press box, and see how it goes. If it's going well, stick with that. Let Engstrom continue to develop in Laval, and go with Del Gaizo as a seventh guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I do prefer to see Engstrom getting that top pairing minutes, getting more playing time, because he'd only be called up to fill a third pair role at this point. So I would be behind that.
Well, he'd be called up to sit in the stands. Like, what would you call him up and sit Jackeye or?
No, that's the thing. You don't want him sitting
alternate them.
Del Gaizo, that would make sense. If Trudeau were healthy, sure. I think he's earned a cookie. His play over the last few years, he's really, he's been a trooper. He's played solid. So yeah,
but he's a young defenseman. Oh, sorry, but he's a young defenseman too, and I don't want him sitting in the stands either. And he's been injured. He needs to play as well. I think. Like, I think you I think you bring up. Well, I mean, I like Del Gaizo more than Clermont.
Yeah, but he's a righty. Del Gaizo's a lefty. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, that might factor into it. Otherwise, you go with the veteran AHL guys who have that two-way deal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But the other injury news, obviously, is that Dach and Laine are day to day. Maybe that's why Laine was sitting there and not celebrating. He was nursing his injury. He couldn't stand up and cheer when they tied the game up. Did you see that? Did you see that picture?
Yeah. Didn't have the strength.
No. Yeah, that's what they can say. He was injured. But sometimes I wonder about this, is he really injured? Or is he sitting outdated? Instead of it becoming a tempest and becoming a, because the Montreal media would jump all over that if he was a healthy scratch, and you almost think, you can go, look, Patty, why don't we say you're scratched tonight, but we'll say that it's a day to day, and then that there's not that media tempest. Just throwing it out there. I'm not normally a conspiracy theory guy, but so I've seen that in the past when a guy you think, this vet could be sitting, and then coincidentally he just happens to get a day-to-day injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm just looking back at the numbers for Hudson and Struble together, comparing them to every other defense pairing that Montreal had last year that played significant amount of time, like 200 plus some odd minutes. They are by far the most effective pairing at expected goals for, breakouts, controlled zone exits and entries. If they can play to that level for the next little while, losing Guhle would be less of a kick in the nuts, so to speak, as expected, because having Guhle there with him, he insulates Hudson really well. So you're kind of hoping Struble can provide that, but those two together have been done better than Guhle and Hudson have. Although Guhle and Hudson haven't had quite as much time together as Hudson and Struble have.
Right. And it's funny, like I made a point last game. It looked like I tweeted out that Guhle and Hudson are looking more and more comfortable, and then you know, lo
So
and
it's your
behold,
fault.
the next period, Marty looked at his, looked at his Twitter feed, saw that I had written that, and said, "Oh, we're gonna change it up then. If McCagg thinks they're doing well, then they mustn't be. It must be the opposite, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna switch." No, but I think it was because of he strained his groin at some point, and like you said, went away. They
Yeah.
said, okay, well, we'll put Struble and Hudson together, and they look good again, as they seem to always do. Sometimes guys just complement each other, right? It's just,
Yeah.
and there's Struble's a stay-at-home, stout, physical defender that skates very well, and you know, Laine doesn't mind jumping up in the rush, and hey, you have the stay-at-home guy, just like Robinson and Savard, right?
Yeah.
You had the guy that could go end to end, and Serge would take care of business back in his own end. Not saying that that's what this pairing is, because um, the Big Bird was a little bigger than Hudson. I wouldn't say that they're two peas in a pod, but
I'm barely more than twice his height.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But so Laine out, Veleno in, Beck gets called up.
So he's in as well.
It would have been kind of cool to see the Jackeyes play their first game together. It was,
At home.
yeah, because I think Florian probably had a better preseason than Beck. I mean, Beck wasn't bad, but Florian was he definitely made his mark. The Rangers aren't a tough, like they aren't, well, I guess they got Rempe though, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, he has to be fast enough to hit something.
Right, but I mean,
And
and
Liney's not
Florian,
there
Florian,
anymore.
Florian isn't going to. What's that?
And Liney's not. He's out here too. So the slowest guy on the team's not there.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I mean, Florian. Maybe Marty's thinking, "Geez, he dropped the gloves with Delorier. If I put him in the lineup, will he drop friggin' gloves with Rempe now too?" So
I guarantee he'd be a target for Rempe.
yeah, he would. And I don't. He's not ready. He is not ready to fight 6'9" guys.
No, probably not. I do think that he would fare well in an NHL game. I think he's there. He's at
Yeah,
that point. But
yeah,
with Beck, I think it's more they want a more proven center with better face-off percentages,
right.
who's more of a two-way kind of guy, as opposed to the grinding, crash and
Yeah,
bang type.
yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I don't know how good Veleno was on faceoffs in the preseason, but who's going to center? You think it's going to be Beck?
I think Velena will play center, but the face-offs will probably be
Right.
taken by Beck.
Yeah, I think Veleno will. I mean, they've got the stats, and I'm sure there's one or two circles where Veleno's better than Beck percentage wise, and they'll situational probably, right?
Mm.
Veleno will take him on his strong side, and vice versa. Yeah, and now Doc out as well. Day
Yeah,
to
so
day. Yeah, so they bring in
yeah,
Veleno, they bring in Beck. Um, Obviously, this is going to give an opportunity to Kapanen on that second power play, which I've been
yeah,
kind of calling for. So, in some respects, I mean, losing Guhle hurts, but with Struble and Hudson being such an effective pairing, Jackeye coming in, uh, you know, Beck in for Laine. I don't think it's a downgrade right now. he's more suited to play a fourth line role, which is what Laine was doing. And then
yeah.
Kapanen gets to go onto the second power play over Doc. I don't see it hurting the team a lot, really, those three injuries.
Not in the short term.
Right.
I think for now, and because they're day to day, Dach and Laine are just day to day. I don't see a lot of major line shuffling. Like I do believe Valeno and Beck are going to be on the same line.
Yeah, they
But I
are.
see them giving more ice time to the Evans line to kind
Oh,
of
of course.
help out with Kapanen's line.
And
Whereas
yeah,
um, Budzik is kind of going to be in limbo with two new guys, so they're going to lower their ice time just so that you know they're not exposed as much. To give them
right.
some time to get their feet wet.
For those wondering, Bolduc's going to play with Beck and Valeno, and Anderson. I mean, Gallagher is familiar with Anderson and Evans. They were together all
Yeah,
preseason and at times last year too. So that's that the familiarity's there. It's just one line that where it's been really jigged, and
yeah.
um, it's not that big a deal, really. I think I think Bolduc, Valeno, and Beck as a fourth line.
Strong.
You know that's a good fourth line. So
Yeah,
I don't.
and Budzik's going to keep his power play time, so it's not
Yes,
going to hurt
yeah.
him too much.
And who do you figure goes on the second power play along with Kapanen?
For line A spot. Oof, that's a tough call.
Doc, yeah, Doc. Kapanen takes Doc, and
Yeah, I
who
would think
takes
so.
who takes Laine's spot?
Um,
Maybe Hudson gets double time, or maybe
or
Matheson plays
Suzuki,
and they
or
go with two D. Maybe,
yeah, yeah, I could see that. Or they could be giving a cookie to Valeno as a veteran.
maybe, yeah. No, there's options there. I just uh, obviously it's going to be a power play unit that hasn't played together.
Yeah.
You may see 90-second shifts for the top. You may see
Oh yeah.
Suzuki doubled. You may see Hudson playing 2 minutes. There's a bunch of different options that they have there.
I
Gallagher
think it has.
playing,
Yeah, exactly. Gallagher can play a little bit more. I think it has everything to do with how everything's going in game. So he's going to make adjustments in game and provide that ice time to people he thinks are doing well in that game.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's get a couple of quick questions here. Will you be on post game this evening, Grant? Well, Blainer, I think we're both going to be on, are we not?
That's the rumor. I'm still waiting on my $1 million contract to be signed, but
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be there. Might
yeah,
hold up. Who
yeah.
knows?
If somebody becomes a member, I promise I'll give $1 out of the 340 to Blain. So there you go.
Woo!
Gaza, don't strip, whatever you do, Gaza. You get that one? Guhle, Doc, Reinbacher injury rates are concerning. Yeah. That's that goes without saying, but hey, it's yes. I all I can do is agree. Can't really add anything to that. Francois Bedard. We've got a Bedard and a Potvin here today, folks. That's of course somebody else. RR asked it. We'll get back to Bedard in a sec. Is Blain related to Denny? You've never been asked that question before, have you?
Never, not once. But the real question is Denny related to Blain?
Yeah, that's always how you word it, and perfect.
Always.
Just so you know, I think there might be 3 or 4 Potvin families in Canada, or maybe even 5.
There's three for sure
It's a fairly popular name, but it's safe to say.
in certain areas.
Francois, we say it's bad not playing matches. Example, Engstrom, if recalled. But do you think training and NHL players with NHL players can help improve, even if it's not playing matches?
Sure, they could, but in his case, it's not getting used to the speed of the game or getting adjusted to those players. It's in-game situations, how he's going to respond, to a broken play, or where does he go for, the penalty kill? Those things can only be done in game, and he's better off playing that system with heavy minutes in the AHL.
Right. And if you've got, like, let's say your lineup is Engstrom, Struble, the other four guys, there's not a lot of physicality in that group. Like, Engstrom doesn't replace Guhle. There's already questions about just how physical the six are. And if Guhle's out and you bring in Engstrom, there's not a balance there, right? And I just don't see him being the guy to come in to replace Guhle. Jackeye and Struble are both, I think they're NHL defensemen, and I think both of them being in the lineup, it helps make up for the loss of Guhle when it comes to, moving guys from out in front of the net, being physical in your own end. Guhle will be missed for that maybe as much as anything. And I don't think Engstrom is at the NHL level, certainly. He's not a physical own zone defender. I think that's the part of his game that he needs to keep working on. I think he needs another 5 pounds of muscle before he's a full-time NHLer. And when he does do that, then certainly he can skate. Right now, NHL level, he's above average. He's good with the puck, good at moving up on the play and all that. But they need Jackeye more than Engstrom in the lineup with Guhle out, as far as I'm concerned.
That and Jackeye and Struble both are more able and willing to initiate the contact, whereas Engstrom, while he does have the size to deal with contact and he can battle his way out, he's not someone that would initiate that kind of contact. He's not out there playing physical. He's being played physical against, and he's holding up to it. I think that's the difference in their games, really. Yeah,
for sure. Okay, well, you said I said 20 minutes. We're up to 22. You're welcome to hang around for a few more questions, but Blain, if you want to.
Yeah, I can do a couple more.
Okay, good. Rempe Jackeye time. Jeez.
Probably gonna see it.
Maybe, but do you want the fourth line 5-minute guy taking off regular defenseman? Yeah, maybe. I don't think Marty would like that, but he's not going to be on the ice to break him up. He's not one of the linesmen. So if it happens, it happens. But yeah, maybe.
If Montreal's up a goal or down a goal and Rempe is running around like an idiot, I don't think St. Louis is really going to care too much that Jackeye feeds him his lunch.
A goal? Yeah, I think more like 2 goals, 3 goals, one way or the other. I think if it's a 1-goal game, I don't know that he necessarily like that, but yeah, I know what you're saying. If the situation calls for it, Jackeye will certainly drop the gloves with Rempe. Even Josh will, if he has to.
Just watch the bench. You'll see St. Louis doing the old Roman gladiator thing: thumbs up, thumbs down.
There you go. See, that's why we got Potvin. That's why we got Potvin, guys. You don't get that kind of content from me. I wouldn't have thought of that. Veleno is centering Bolduc and Beck. Well,
yeah.
Again, like Blain says, it'll be situational. But yeah, Beck predominantly played wing in the preseason, so I expect that he'll be on the wing, and Veleno will take the center. He's the vet, right? The NHL vet. He's played a lot of center in the NHL, but definitely face-off wise, I think it'll be split depending on who's stronger in which face-off circle, and then you see Veleno, and again, depending on the situation, Beck will play some center if he takes a draw and he needs to stay in the middle. They're not going to switch if the situation doesn't call for it at that moment. But yeah, Veleno, I expect Veleno to be to have the share the brunt of the time at center tonight for sure. But you got any predictions on the game there, Blain?
I don't know. New York has been really weird to start the season. Like it is not what I would have expected out of them. I mean, not a ton of offense either. So I think Montreal, as long as they keep this a track meet, will control this whole game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it could be a dandy. I'm looking forward to it. This is Kapanen, like it's an opportunity for Struble. I also think it's an opportunity for Kapanen. Like he's been playing 10 to 13 minutes most games. Tonight that's going to change. He's going to probably play 15 to plus and get some time on the power play. I'd like to see him, be great to see him get a point or two and keep that rolling. And I think him and Demidov still haven't quite. They look good in the preseason together. They still haven't quite found it takes time, right? You got a new line mate. You're trying to get it figured out. But I hope that Kapanen continues to cement his place as a top three center on the Habs, because I really think having that ELC in a top three center role is a really nice luxury to have.
Yeah, and I think he's shown that he's quite capable on the penalty kill. So
Yes.
he could carve out a niche there. But if he can show that he's got a bit of an offensive touch with some power play time here, and a little bit more ice time, playing with someone like Demidov, yeah, he could absolutely cement himself onto the lineup.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, Blain. Appreciate you coming out again. We'll see you probably about 9:45.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
right after the game, as
That's
long as
usually
negotiations for my contract go well.
that's right. Yeah. Well, I'll get back to you on that
Yeah.
a lot later. Okay, my friend. Thanks for popping
Right.
by, and we'll see
Thanks,
you
Grant.
tonight.
Will do. See you later.
Okay. Bye. So let's get to a few questions here. This isn't going to be a hour and a half or anything like that. We don't have too many people weighing in. Michael says it's the same three players always hurt. Yeah, it does sort of seem that way at times, doesn't it? Yeah, I wish I could disagree with that, but let's hope the day to day is just day to day on Dach and Laine. Well, maybe a week or two out wouldn't hurt him anyway, but not as concerned about that one right now. I just want to give a quick shout out. Bonnechere Caves, it's closed now for the season, but my first sponsor, Caveman Chris, Eagleville, Ontario, a private family-owned business run by hockey fans. Next spring, folks, when they're open in May long weekend, from then on, the rest of the season, go out to Bonnechere Caves. If you're coming up to the Ottawa area or you're from the Ottawa area, you want a nice family, adventurous and informative place to tourist destination, Bonnechere Caves, Eagleville, Ontario. I want to thank Chris for his support in being my first ever sponsor on the HabsCast. Folks, I'm welcoming sponsors. We've got openings for the Habs Prospect of the Week, Draft Prospect of the Week. We're going to be doing every week. Me and Rick. Feel free to contact me. Got a hell of a deal available for you if that interests you. Victor Joseph. 2 will play with Struble then, or from Laval will be called up. Sorry, Victor, I don't know what. And 2 will play with Struble then. Is that supposed to be 72? And maybe, eh? No, Struble is playing with Hudson, just as he did the last two periods of the last game. Jack plays with Carrier, and we'll see who they call up. I think it'd probably be Del Gaizo. He can sit in the stands. Engstrom, I'd like keep him playing 20 minutes a game and continuing to develop in Laval would be, I think, is the route they'll probably go. And if Jack or Struble start struggling, then you might see them switch Del Gaizo and Engstrom and give Engstrom a look if any of the six are like Jack or Struble start struggling, then Engstrom will get a look. But for now, those are the six. They'll go with it. I think they'll be fine. I think both Struble and Jack are NHL defensemen, and in fact, it bothered me that one of them was sitting in the while they're still developing as NHL defensemen. Didn't like either of them sitting out, to be honest with you, but it's just a numbers game, right? Let's have a look here. Kukuk, only positive for New York is that they are better on PK percentage-wise versus Montreal. But yeah, well, it's 4 or 5 games into the year. Stats will vary as time goes on, and they will change. But right now, certainly Montreal's got great stats across the board, pretty much. But the Rangers, we saw it the last game. Didn't expect Nashville to be as good as they were, and they came within a few seconds of winning the game against Montreal. So let's add some more comments there, folks, or we'll have to wrap it up here in a couple minutes. There's not much to comment on. If Montreal contains Adam Fox, we should win. Well, I think they got to contain Panarin too, right? I mean, Panarin at any time is capable of having a 4-point night. So don't sleep on the Rangers. They're not that bad. In fact, a lot of pundits picked them to make the playoffs. So it's not. You can't take anyone for granted, or especially if they come out with a slow start like they have been. It could snowball, fall behind, and who knows. Monty, remember last year when he let in 2 of the first 3 shots? I think every game. Hopefully he gets a couple of saves under his belt to start, and that doesn't occur again. Let's see here. Francois Bedard, Suzuki was playing 2 minutes on power play last year. That's right, and I mentioned that last show. So it wouldn't shock me if Suzuki played 2 minutes. I think Hudson's another possibility to play the full 2 minutes, but I also think they'll give Kapanen played like 14 minutes on the power play in the preseason, so it's not like he didn't get some looks and play with Demidov. They played 10 plus minutes together on the power play in preseason, so you'll see. I think you'll see Kapanen come in for Doc on that second unit, and maybe Suzuki for Laine on occasion. That's a possibility too. That both of them are in there. Kukuk, I'm just going to call you Slater from now on. Is that cool? Slater says, if Montreal wins tonight, that will tell me all I need to know about Laine and Doc being out of lineup day to day. Well, they were 4-1 with them in the lineup, so I'm not sure being 1-0 with them out of the lineup would. Yeah, it's 1,000 versus 800 win percentage, but 1 game sample. I don't think that's fair to them. But if it goes 2 or 3 games and the Habs are just flying, win easily, then you start to think, yeah, well, maybe, maybe they are dispensable. Quickly here, Devin, yeah, don't sleep on anyone. No easy games. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for agreeing with me, Devin. I always like that. Francois, New York are more dangerous than it seems. Their goalies have been incredible, and their offense faced goalies that played really well. Right. No, the Rangers aren't a poor team by any means, so can't sleep on them. Habs got to come out better. They can't keep falling behind early in games. They come back to bite them sooner rather than later. If they fall behind 1 or 2-0, they start running and gunning. Panarin can burn you in a second. He's one of the 10 to 20 best offensive players in the league. So um, let's see what else here. JP, I'm excited to see what Veleno and Beck will add to the speed of the game tonight. Yeah, Doc was skating well. I thought he's when you're 6'4", it never looks like you're boogieing out there, but yeah, Veleno and Beck are a upgrade in speed for the Canadians. With this lineup, I'm telling you, might be the fastest Canadians team forward group that we've seen in a long, long time. Like with Beck and Veleno in, there's no turtles on that forward group. It's encouraging. I think that's what we'll see tonight is speedy forechecking. Marty's going to have them really pushing the pace, and of course back on the blue line, it's so much faster than it was a few years ago. Good on transition. I think it'll be a really fast-paced game tonight, and it should be a fun one. I hope it's a little more exciting than the Nashville one was at times. Yeah, well, as far as what Basu and Godin saying or whatever, basically being proactive with changes, not just saying the same because of the record. Yeah, there you go. All right, folks. Well, this was like I say, an emergency podcast. Just wanted to get in a little pregame, get warmed up for the match. Looks like Struble and Hudson. I wouldn't be surprised if Struble's ice time is going to go up, obviously. And this is his chance. This is his chance to prove to Marty and prove to Stefan Robida that he should never be out of lineup. So it's his opportunity. I hope he grasps it because I think he's a full-time NHL defenseman. I really like Struble, and hopefully he proves to everyone that he's someone that just shouldn't be out of lineup at all. And even if when Guhle comes back, if Struble plays great, well, that just ups his trading stock as well, right? So it's only a good thing if Struble excels given this opportunity. Victor Joseph, Dach and Guhle injury prone. Oh man, brother, they are, and it's unfortunate, but I'm a bigger believer in the law of averages than I am in the term injury prone. So, and I'm also optimistic by nature. So I'm gonna hope that this means the rest of their careers they'll never have an injury and everything will be hunky dory. But that's probably not going to be the case. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again. 750 people. Wow. In that short a span with no Oh, well, I only gave about 40 minutes heads up, so really appreciate you guys coming on board to watch. And we'll see you after the game. Blain and I might even get somebody else out. We'll see. Liam might be available. Rick, one of those two could join us as well. So hope you can join us after the game. Probably be about 9:45. If it goes to a shootout or whatever, be closer to 10. The game, if Montreal lost in regulation, the Nashville game would have ended at 9:30, actually. But it ended up going till typically it's about a quarter to 10 that the game's over. All right, that's it for now. Thanks, everyone, and we'll hopefully see you after the Rangers Habs game tonight.